Hello and welcome to another round of the Teamwork Racing 2020 Championship. I'm Peter Butcher. I'm joined in the commentary box once again by Jack Eyre, and returning once again is Thilo. Hi Thilo. Hi Jack.
Hey
Good
guys.
evening.
Tonight we've got South City Long reversed with the UFR. It's going to be quite a fun evening, isn't it?
Should be nice machinery change from last week, and again a scenery change alongside that. So very different to Aston where we were last week. Margins are slightly less. Of course, you've got the walls quite close to you, so especially on cold tyres, you want to avoid those barriers. But we'll see how the drivers get on.
But it's a great car to swing it around the corners here. It's taking the tighter ones very nicely. And speaking of the UFR, we're again broadcasting the Open Endurance Cup round 2 this time on Sunday, coming from West Hill International for 500-kilometer endurance racing. And just a couple of weeks ago, we saw the first round of the championship here on some broadcasts. And Mandula did some magic and provided us with a highlights video. Please enjoy.
So that was the highlights video from a couple of weeks ago, round 1 of the OEC. You can sign up for that on the Live for Speed forum. So gents, 11 laps of racing tonight, and yeah.
Not quite 500 kilometers.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. And I think we're about to get underway for qualifying, aren't we?
Yes, the server admin said 2 minutes till qualifying starts, but that has already been 1 minute ago, so we're about to start this very, very soon. 10 seconds.
Excellent, that sounds just about right. And then we'll switch over to the track. Yeah, looking forward to this one, as always. Here we go then. As the cars file their way out onto the track. Quite a good grid here today. Quite a lot of people. Yeah, so 17 minutes of qualifying underway then. Currently watching Getrag as he makes his way along this freeway complex down into the infield, or what I like to call the infield section of the lap.
Yeah, and he's now accelerating out of the tight hairpin into this very long quadruple right-hander, the last of the right-handers, narrowing down on the exit. Very technical section now, the slowest section on track.
Yeah, these drivers definitely need to find themselves some space, wouldn't you say? They're starting to back themselves up now. There you can see Ricciardo in the background just... Oh, he's actually sending it. He's trying to find his own space. But, yeah, it's all going to get very busy into the final corner. And now Ricciardo backs off a bit.
The truck actually tried to maximize the gap to Gavin Pate in front. Probably not too happy with Ricciardo there, trying to search track position. But here they go onto their first flying lap of this very qualifying session.
Yeah, it's quite a short lap here in the UFR. It's quite a quick car. As you mentioned, we've seen this a few times over the last couple of weeks. We saw it during OEC for 3 hours alongside the XFR. We're watching Kaike Piroppo on what is quite an exuberant lap. Clattering the barriers a little bit through the left-hander hairpin. One of the slowest corners in Live for Speed, in fact. And into this bus stop-like chicane in a direction that most drivers are not really familiar. This is the reverse direction today. We normally take this section in the opposite direction, but we're using it this way around today for a change. And here comes Kaike Piroppo around the final corner. Nice right-hander and onto the home straight. He's got one final right sweeper to go, and we'll see what his initial posting is. Getrag sets the initial pace, 141.44. Ricciardo in second place, and Kaike Piroppo will cross the line in fourth place. Not bad.
We'll try and jump on board with someone in just a sec and show you around South City along a course. 12 corners in total, 7 to the right, 5 to the left. 4 kilometres or 2.5 miles in length.
Yeah, who do you want to go on board with, Jack? We've got plenty of cars out there, and surely someone who's about to start a flyer.
Yeah, we can jump on board with either of the Yas Motorsport drivers, both Trespasser and Unite, about to start either their flying laps. Jump on board with Unite, he's going to be the last to cross the line. Again, a little kink to the left here is not actually named as a corner, and a slight kink to the right again as there is some traffic there to the right. This is turn number 1 now, along almost 180-degree corner that you have to get the exit right. You can see the barriers just close up to you on the exit there as Unite aborts that lap. We'll try and jump on board with somebody else.
He needs to get a banker lap in, doesn't he, at some point? Let's go on board with Getrag. I think he's about to set another lap. He's doing a very, very slow out lap. He's in the middle sector at the moment, just trying to find himself some space. He has set the initial pace. So what do you reckon? On board with Getrag for a lap?
Yeah, we'll see if he can improve. Of course, he's just over a tenth on pole position, so a little bit, I mean, compared to the lap times that we saw last week, 3/100ths of a second separated 3 drivers right at the very sharp end of qualifying. A bit more of a spread out this week, of course. Everybody wants, it's quite hard to maximise the track usage because you're so close to those barriers almost every corner. You can see getting the best run possible out of turn 11 through the downhill, almost cambered right-hander before the uphill section of turn number 12 to cross the start-finish line now. There's about 11 minutes remaining. Hopefully everybody will have got at least a banker lap in 14 drivers so far have set times, but now heading down to turn 1, braking roughly where the 50-meter mark is, trying to get as close to that inside wall as possible on the power as early as you can. Again, out of turn number 1, there's a long straight now up the hill before it flattens out. Split number 1 is again just before the track, well sorry, just after the track drops away from you. Go through split number 1 before we enter turn number 2. 30.41 first split for Getrag, currently the pace setter. Double left-hander complex here, turns 3 and 4 before the uphill sprint. Slight kink to the right before the first braking zone of this middle sector here. A little lift through turn number 5 as a hard braking zone into turn number 6. Again, trying to carry as much speed as you can through all the corners here. The left-hander of turn number 7. Again, trying to maximise, use the karting line so to speak, carry as many kilometres per hour again through each corner as you possibly can. The left-hander of turn number 10. An impressive, again, middle split, 1 minute 6.96. Hopefully he can at least get close, if not improve his pole position lap time. Again, I think Ricciardo's got slightly closer, but again, not enough to beat Getrag through turn number 12. We come to complete a lap of South City long reverse. Believe it, it's going to be very close to an improvement. If it's not,
wow,
it is indeed an improvement. So 41.12 for Getrag.
That was a great
Out
effort,
in
wasn't
pole
it?
position. Yeah, took a couple tenths at least off his time earlier.
I think Ricciardo's just started a lap, correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, is he on an out lap?
I'm not quite sure. Either way, Kaike Parapo, look at that, what a lap. Well, just shy of a couple tenths faster than Getrag,
Yeah, wow.
but the only driver at the moment inside the 1 minute 40s.
By the way, if you're wondering, the world record currently stands at 1 minute 40.01 by Pauli Peltokangas.
Ricciardo's teammate. Yeah, probably not here today, but yeah, considering that Kaike Propo didn't have tyre warmers, and this is in the heat at the moment in a qualifying session, that is a belter of a lap. Let's see if anybody can beat it. We've got nearly 8 minutes remaining. Getrag looks best suited to do it as Yes Motorsports Unite goes up into 3rd place, guys.
Yes Motorsport Unite finally able to get a lap in that at least he'll be satisfactory with. Starts on the 2nd row of the grid currently, right behind the race leader.
.20 cars have set a lap time. 21 now as Mega posts a 1:46.02. We're watching Jaban. He's just starting a lap through the first set of sweepers. He's currently P5. No stranger to the front of the grid is Jaban in his bright red Team Racing skin, and he aborts after just one corner.
But it's quite interesting to see on the approach to the first corner how bumpy the track is and how, well, the car nearly lifts off at some points. It really travels quite a lot in the suspension. And speaking of jumping cars, actually on the transition road from the motorway or off the motorway, they are actually lifting the tires. Yeah. We're going to see it with Trespasser here. Probably, maybe if we go on board, we can hear it in the ref limiter.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll see on the home straight because there aren't that many. Oh, he's rolled it.
Ooh. Yeah, just got the lock on a little early and he caught that inside curb which catapulted him into the inside wall. It was just enough to lift that front left tyre off the ground, and onto your side you go. Of course, very rigid cars here. You want to get the most stiff suspension you can possibly get on any track, really. But of course, accounting for the well, at least a few curbs that we've got here and the undulations of the track. You see how unforgiving it is if you get it wrong.
So yeah, it doesn't look like anybody's getting anywhere near Kaikei anytime soon. We've got 5 minutes left. Getrag is in P2. Yes Unite rounds out the top 3, and Rick Cardle currently looking at the back of the second row. Jaban just outside that. A good spread of TRR drivers this week. It doesn't look like they're all bunched up. Gavin Pete currently P7, Texas P9. The two Yes Motorsport drivers have got quite a void between them as well. Trespass is normally a name we expect to see quite high up. Maybe with his mouse, the UFR is just a little bit too leery. He's on a lap though, guys, if you want to talk us through.
We jump on board with him. I've just seen Pekka Koivunen set a faster lap time, but remains in 11th place as he only improved by 2/100th of a second. Not enough to jump any positions.
The Trespasser now coming down to the hairpin again.
Oh. He doesn't like that left-hander, does he? He did. He clipped it again, and luckily he didn't hit it too hard, and didn't roll it this time. So let's see how he goes.
Yeah, aggressive on his outlap at least, because I believe this is not a timed lap. We'll see how he gets on though. Still just over 4 minutes remaining, so enough at least for, I think, 2 more attempts just.
It just doesn't look like a smooth attempt from him, and he's going to abort it or try again. It seems so late.
It's an outlap anyway, so I think he's just allowing for Japan to go through. Of course, not a long track by any means, 4 kilometers, and 21 drivers at least set times, potentially more on track right now. Very early on the power, out of turn 11, on the run down to 12 to start what will be Trespassers' next attempt at a flying lap. Currently sits in P number 8 with a 1 minute 41.87, so if he takes just over 10th off, he will jump up a couple positions. He's got almost a second to find though if he wants to get himself on the front row of the grid at least. Slightly, I mean, he was about a metre away from the apex in turn number 1, but of course by taking a slightly longer route around the right hander of turn number 1, he can carry a little bit more speed. All the way over to the left again before the track drops away from you to the downhill braking point for turn number 2. The double left-hander complex of 3 and 4 now. He's got to be very careful on the inside of turn number 4. Nicely navigated away from there, but the revs, as you heard, they slightly bogged down, so that might have hindered his run up the hill now, up into turn number 5.
Getrag, meanwhile, has just gone provisional pole. It's taken another 3/10 out of Propo. Back to you, Jack.
That's a fantastic lap from Getrag. I mean, we were praising Kaike Propo's lap just to get into the 40s, but Getrag, I mean, what was the world record again? It was a very, very low 40.
40.01, I think.
Yeah. Yep. So again, 6/10 away from a world record around a 4-kilometer track, in actual qualifying conditions. Again, with everybody else on track. What an impressive lap that is from Getrag. Can Trespasser get anywhere near? Decent middle split of a 1 minute 7.24.
It just didn't look as committed or as smooth as, anywhere near as smooth as Getrag's lap that we went on board with just before, so I don't know whether he'll improve with this. He might do.
41.62. It is an improvement, but he remains in 8th position.
Not enough. And he gets it all wrong into the hairpin at the end of his first lap. So yeah, just over 1 minute remaining, 21 times on the board.
Yeah, unfortunately, with about 1 minute 20 left when Trespasser left the pits, he's not going to have time to complete a full outlap. The drivers still have time to cross the line before the time runs out in order to get one final timed lap in before the session will end.
We saw Frank there narrowly, well, he clipped the left-hander onto the final little section of the lap, the corner that Michael's just navigated there. Sorry, Mega's down in 21st, his teammate is in 14th. He'll be wanting to improve from that, definitely.
Yeah, so Mega just I think just shy of a couple seconds away from the guy in 20th position, Race Green's Magic. If he's not up to pace, of course, not everybody in this championship has time to practice the combinations before they jump on the server every week because the races are so frequent. So Mega is one of those drivers you'd expect to gain a lot of pace from driving around other cars, at least in the first race. We'll see how he gets on later. Hopefully he can improve though.
The clock's about to tick down. Who's going to be the last person to set a lap, do we think? It looks like
it's
it
Unite.
might be Unite, yeah, exactly.
It should be Pedro.
Pedro did
just
cross the line, but he wasn't on an out lap. Yeah, he was just completing his final timed lap. So Unite, if he gets this right, will be the last person to cross the line in this qualifying session. Of course, everybody else still able to leave the pits and use a little time remaining in qualifying as sort of a practice.
He scuffed the wall going into the first corner there a bit. So I don't know whether he was using it to slow down or what, but yeah.
Yeah, of course, on the right-hander, on the right-hand side of this double left here, in between turns 3 and 4, I'm seeing quite a few drivers running very close to that barrier. Some opting to use the walls to help them slow down, of course. It's all friction. Drivers have got to be careful during the race, of course, not to pick up too much damage.
The chat already called it wall breaking. Oh, and Unite with a very interesting interpretation of his line. Maybe trying to go into new areas of the South City circuit.
Yeah, doing some donuts over there. But yeah.
Nicely caught by our blimp cam.
Ricciardo did cross the line, not able to improve a 141.42. He currently sits in P3 with a 141.29, so just a tenth shy of where he was. Last across the line is going to be Kidd, who's down in 19th position. Does set a personal best at least a 1 minute 43.62, but remains in P number 19, just 3/10 shy of the guy ahead of him.
Yeah, the chat's on form tonight. I've just noticed that P7 and 8, currently occupied by the World Class Lions drivers, they tied. Joni Katila and Pekka Koivunen got the same lap time, a 141.59. So yeah, do you want to run us down the full order, Jack or Thilo? Whoever fancies doing it today.
I mean, I don't mind, but Thilo has not been in the commentary box for a few weeks.
Yeah, go on,
Thilo.
Short straw.
Okay, it's my pleasure. So on pole position, we've got Gatrang, the number 19 UFR, with a 146.2. He's followed 2/10 behind him by Energy Virtual Racing's Kaiki Pirapo and the number 18 car. In third position, number 66, Ricardo Forsythus. Fourth position, Team Rock Racing's Jaban in the 03 car. Fifth, Yes Motorsports Unite in the 87. Sixth position, number 55, Team Rock Racing's Gavin Pete. Seventh position and eighth position go down to World Class Lines, as we just mentioned. The number 30 in front of the number 77, that's Joni Katila in front of Pekka Koivunen. Yes Motorsports Trespasser in 9th position. Followed by the third World Class Lions car of Eyre Katila in the last top 10 position. 11th and 12th to Team Rock Racing with Texas in front of Frank. 13th position to Redbot from Race Green Autosports. 14th position Master Race Cars Michael, followed by Road Appraiser Pedro and World Class Lions Soini. 17th position in the 83 TC Racing car of Elmo. 18th position, it's the newcomer with the number 11 Silverstone. 19th position, the 42 of Kit. 20th, Race Green Autosports Magic, and 21st position it's Master Race Cars Mega.
Yeah, Mega's quite some way off the pace, as Jack was saying, so hopefully he can pick up the pace a little bit in race 1. Thanks for the rundown, Thilo. We've got two 11-lap races coming up. The first will be based on the order of the grid will be based on the order of qualifying, and the second will be fully reversed. And it's going to be quite exciting down into turn 1 with everybody getting on the brakes with cold tyres. I don't want to say it, but how do we foresee that going?
Well, it's almost 180-degree right-hander, and it's one of the slowest corners on the track, bar turns 3 and 4. So again, I think everyone will at least be cautious that they all have cold tyres, and I think everybody on the grid knows that it's not won in the first corner, but again, everybody's going to be looking for that single opportunity to get up a couple of places, and if anybody lets their guard down for even a second, you can guarantee that a driver's going to take advantage of that. So hopefully they keep it clean. Of course, they'll want the best track position that they can get, but hopefully these guys are thinking the race is 11 laps. It doesn't need to be down to one corner. Hopefully they take the time.
So you're confident that they actually arrive at turn 1 without
well, we
troubles.
hope so, don't we?
Well, there's a little kink just before turn number 1, so it gets very narrow there, and at least on a fast lap, it's quite hard to run too wide there. And we could see some incidents before we even arrive at turn number 1.
It's the kink, and it's also the bumps on the approach to the turn 1 braking zone, so that could make the car very unstable, and I've seen incidents there, let's put it that way.
I think we've all seen our fair share of incidents. We've been involved in them as well, probably. It is definitely a pinch point, especially as we saw in qualifying with lots of cars getting thrown about by the bumps down into turn 1 in the UFR, which is an incredibly light car with a lot of grip. As soon as you smash down and land, it's all over. But yeah, let's do the race start.
So here we go. At least from what I can see, every single driver on the grid on exactly the same tyre compounds, R3, R2, front to rear, Getrag and Kaike Propo on the front row of the grid.
Here we go then, 4 lights are on, and we're green for the start of race number 1 here. Getrag with a good launch, and so the rest of the field follows down to turn number 1. Let's hope they will get through. They seem to have all spread out nicely at the front already, and so far so good. Oh, Kaike Propo nearly ran into the back of Getrag a little bit there, but Getrag holds it out of turn number 1 for now. Ricciardo looking like he is a man on a mission, trying to get in amongst the pigeons at the front. What's going on elsewhere?
Everybody towards the back, at least through turn number 1 safely. 4 wide almost at the back before we filter into single file again as we approach turn number 2. Clean at the back though.
Yeah, Unite got into a 3 wide situation with Jaban and Gavin Peat there and became the unlucky one, and kind of, as we've got a bottleneck at the hairpin. Cars running into the back of each other. Unite back alongside Jaban then. Gavin Peat's up to P3. He's just got past Rick Cardle, and there's a close fight going on at the front as well.
Yeah, these lead 2 starting to break away from the pack just a bit. Getrag and Kaike Propo out at the front. Gavin Peat and Rick Cardle almost want to be side by side for the entire lap, and Yes Motorsport Unite wants to join in for the fight for the last spot on the podium at the moment.
Yeah, it's all very bunched up at the front indeed, but we've already starting to see the breakaway of this group of 3 in the middle, the lead 2, and then the World Class Lines and Trespasser battle behind.
So just looking at the launch, Kaike Propo got out of turn number 11. He's right on the back of Getrag. Of course, these cars aren't massively aero dependent whatsoever, but you will find that the benefit from running close to the car ahead. Bit of a tactical lift from Kaike Propo as they cross the line just 7/100ths of a second apart. Again, the gap from the front 2 back to 3rd is 2 seconds already.
Yeah, a good exit there from Getrag. Kaike not quite close enough this time around, but Rick Cardle's still in a fight with Gavin Peat. Gavin Peat's got the slipstream, and I'm sure he's smelling a look. Also in the background, we've got Yoni Katila and Jaban side by side, but let's keep our eyes at the front. Rick Cardle on the inside in the purple car there. Gavin Peak narrowly avoiding the line. Is he going to try and hold it around the outside? What a move! That was excellent.
So brilliant for Gavin Peak to hold it around the outside for turn number 2, which turned again to the inside for turns 3 and 4, and you can see he's inherited 3rd position just because of the confidence he has.
I'm sure Ricardo will be fancying that position back, but these guys need to start working together to close that gap down.
Working together and not hitting the walls. By the way, something must have happened to the World Class Lions drivers, because Pekka Koivunen and Timo Soini are now at the rear end of the grid.
Yeah, it looks like Pekka Koivunen's got some heavy left side damage on the front and rear of his car, and well, same with Soini, so not quite sure what happened there.
As Magic rolls it from P number 19, just ahead of the World Class Lions cars. Race Green's Magic. His race is unfortunately over now as he spectates, so we've lost a driver. 20 cars as Magic actually rejoins a lap down.
We're riding on board with Yes Motorsport United, who arguably has the best run down into turn 1. Oh, and that's what I was saying about the undulating nature of turn number 1. It's so bouncy. As soon as the car gets in the air, you're just a passenger, and Rick got it all wrong, and Unite crashed into the back of him, and that's the result. Unite's dropped down to P6 now, side by side with Joni Katila for World Class Lions. United best placed, he's on the inside, but will Joni try and hold it around the outside? No, he hits the wall.
You can just see how close the margins are here at South City. You can't really afford to put a foot wrong. But Ricardo will have picked up a little bit of damage at least, but hopefully you can drive through that.
Someone's done in the chicane, in the hairpin.
It was Pedro. Pedro's got a nice dent on his rear left now. That's going to affect the track width of the left of his car, and he might end up rolling that. It's already quite difficult to keep this car. Yeah, look, he's picking up onto 2 wheels just around on the flat there. So yeah, I'm intrigued by this battle at the front. Kaike Piroppo within half a second of the back of Getrag as we head on to the start of lap number 4. These two still incredibly close. Now it looks like Trespass is trying to line up the 2 World Class Lions drivers onto the home straight. Let's see what happens here. Will there be a repeat of what happened to his teammate Unite on the last lap? Hopefully not. The 2 World Class Lions drivers side by side there. That's Joni and Jari Katila, father and son. And Unite's going around the outside.
That's Ricardo again.
Oh!
Something definitely happened there just before we got to turn number 1.
Oh, he hit the left side wall and got reflected back onto the racing line. That's what happened from what I've caught on the screen.
And that's unfortunately meant that Joni Katila's retired from the race.
Yeah, huge front left damage for Ricardo now. He finds himself just out of the top 10 as Chris McElroy for TC Racing filters through.
I'm still focusing on Trespasser here. Go on, Jack.
These leading pair almost have a gap of 4 seconds to 3rd place. And just about a car's width separates the 2 leaders at the moment, as again they're trading split times. No position changes as of yet. Getrag still leads Kaike Piroppo. Gavin Peak at the front of this, what you want to say, a train back to almost 14th place, as Ricardo is again caught out and loses positions to Master Race Cars Michael Kidd and Race Green Autosports Redbot.
Jarek Katia with a slight nudge off the wall, and this opens the door for Trespass to go around the outside now of the fin. Better acceleration out of the hairpin and onto the home straight.
Yeah, but Harry's now really well placed for a slipstream down into turn 1. Trespass already trying to move out the slipstream, but here he comes. Is he going to stick behind and go for it into turn 1? He stays behind for the first part, which is sensible. We've seen it go wrong plenty of times here today. But it does look like Trespasser has that move made. There'll be one other opportunity for Jari to have another go back, but I think he's already dropped too far back behind Trespasser there.
The Eyre was quite deep on the brakes, but managed to hit the apex nicely. It's just struggled for traction out of turn number 1. He's not close enough this time around.
Someone who has benefited from all the goings on in this race is Jaban. He's up to P4. I can't quite remember his qualifying position, but I know it wasn't that high up. He's now catching his teammate Gavin Peat.
So Jaban, at least this time around, has gone purple in split number 1, mirroring Getrag's time down to the 1000th. Both of those two hold exactly the same split 1 time. Almost a tenth faster than Gavin Peat, at least for this lap, is Jaban in P number 4. The gap is about 0.9 of a second.
And still Kaike Propo is trying to catch on to the back of Getrag. If only he had a little bit of slipstream. These two still very, very close with 5 laps now gone of this race, just coming up to halfway through the next lap.
Again, the gap between the leaders, at least this lap, has probably been stretched out to about half a second. They were bumper to bumper just a lap ago, but Kaike Propo, even though he holds the fastest middle split last time around, was around about 2/10 shy of Getrag out of the lead, so that might be where the gaps come from.
We dropped back a bit there to Kid and Redbot. Redbot thought about making his move around the outside of Kid into the kink before turn number 1. Thought better of it, and Kid is now in P12. United's sort of in his own little bubble right now between his teammate and the two Team Racing guys. I think he is slightly catching the Team Racing duo now as Trespasser rolls it in the background. He's on his roof again, as we saw in qualifying. He's taken way too much of the inside of that corner and bails from the race once again.
Yeah, Unite, like you said, Pete, is catching up to the back of Jaban, and Gavin Peat has set the fastest sector 1 of the race. Jaban, though, is right on the back of Gavin Peat for 3rd position. These two very, very close.
Yeah, we're looking out the rear view window of Gavin Peat's car, and let's see if Jaban fancies his chances onto the home straight. He got a great exit and he's in the slipstream, so it's his to lose at this point. Another pair that are close together is Michael and Chris McElroy. But let's stay with this battle. Here comes Jaban. They're side by side into the kink. They're teammates, so they're not going to want to take each other out like Ferrari did at the weekend. Let's see. They do make contact!
Gavin Peat, I heard a tactical lift as he again loaded the car up into the first kink before turn number 1, the left-hander, but he didn't lift enough to sort of compensate for the potential overlap and almost pit manoeuvred Jaban, who again, he retains 4th place, but the gap is going to be just over a second now, so Jaban very close to Unite now, has it all to do again to catch up to the back of Gavin Peat.
Yeah, but now Unite's...
Why are you bringing up a Ferrari incident with a red car on screen?
That's why I said it, and it turned out to be the best reference to use at that point in time. I was so proud of myself. Anyway, out of the back window of Jaban, we can see Unite has closed that gap down. But yeah, not really as much as I thought he would after that collision between the two Team Racing teammates.
Unite's on an absolute charge though, of course, accounting for the contact between both the Team Racing drivers.
Yeah, Jaban's caught up to the back of Gavin Peat again, so this is just a concertina effect happening here. I wonder if either of those two have got any damage. I'm sure they've got a little bit, but Unite, he's not had it his own way this race at all, so he'll have some damage surely on that car as well.
Damage-wise, all 3 cars are very similar. A little bit of damper damage, a little bit of lower wishbone damage.
Michael Mallet got a great run out of the final corner in his upside-down UFR livery. And he's in the slipstream of TC Racing's Chris McElroy. Will he try and go around him into the kink? He is. And he makes it stick almost. Oh, there's contact.
No!
Elmo! Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Michael lifted at the wrong point. He had the corner and he spooked Elmo, and that's Elmo on his roof, unfortunately. I shouldn't laugh, but I don't know. That was very unfortunate there. Michael just didn't need to lift that much. He had the corner. Elmo gave him plenty of room, and they came together, unfortunately. But that was a spectacular accident. Michael drops down to P10 behind behind Kid and just ahead of Redbot. And Redbot now side by side with him.
Me and Thilo are going to take the commentary over from here now, so hopefully there's no more commentator's curse. As Jaban and Gavin Pete are within touching distance, there was a slight bit of contact between them through turn number 6. As Yas Motorsports Unite again tagging along to the back of this. The gap between all of the cars is about 0.8 of a second, 0.4 really either side of Jaban in the middle, so nice and even. But again, Jaban with the later apex is able also to get on the power early and not run as close to that outside wall through turn number 11. It sets him up very nicely, tucking to the back of Gavin Pete. He's going to want to overlap before we get to the kink, before turn number 1. He moves out to the left-hand side of the road. Gavin Pete again lifting a little bit more this time, but Jaban didn't account for the fact that he was taking a shallower line into the kink.
Yeah, he's right there now, isn't he?
But Jaban's got away with it. He's gained a position up into P3, and now it's a fight for P number 4. Unite with the slipstream's going to pull out to the right. They're going to be side by side, at least in the braking zone. I don't think Unite's got enough speed to overlap before we get there. Again, squeezing each other because Unite wanted to get as far over to the left-hand side, but Gavin Pete really didn't have much space to move over any more than he did. And unfortunately, Gavin Pete at the start of this lap, 3rd position, finds himself down in 5th now.
With a badly damaged car as well.
Look at the battle up at the front. Now, I'm banned from saying anything controversial, so I'll let you two take over that, but they're still very, very close.
Yeah, this time at least around. Parque Propo faster than Getrag.
Is it a tyre situation? Because we've got 2 laps left after this one, and it feels like Kaike is on the is in the better position right now to get this job done.
It looks as though, at least for Getrag, that front right tyre temperature spread out a little more, but his front left slightly warmer than the front left of the man in 2nd position. So, of course, that front left, with this being a clockwise configuration, with us running the reverse layout, is going to be the one that, at least on the front axle, gets all of the battering.
Kaike got a great exit there. This move could be on.
But indeed, let's watch the two as they approach the braking zone for turn number 2. Getrag, of course, the further he is to the right, the harder it is going to be to defend. But again, Kaike proper with the slight bit of contact manages to get through nice and clean, as he again was so tight through the right-hander of turn number 2. You could see the right-hand side of the car lifting off the floor there. Fantastic battling from these front pair.
Yeah, and a change of position that we kind of expected coming, I guess. But yeah, it took Kaike 10 laps. But it's definitely not over. Getrag will have the bit between his teeth. He's led for 10 laps, and he's still right there. So let's not rule him out just yet.
Of course, Getrag wants to stay as close to Kaike Propo as he possibly can, and potentially get the better run out of turn number 11 to size up a move, at least for turn 1 of the final lap. On lap 10 of 11, when the drivers cross the line next time around, they'll receive, theoretically, the white flag. 1 to go. Getrag not with the greatest exit out of turn number 11, but close enough to benefit from the slipstream nonetheless. We'll see how close these two get as we approach turn number 1. You can see Kaike slightly over to the left as to potentially cover the inside, but Getrag's going to go for it anyway. They're very close, banging doors, and they're both going to go into the barrier. Kaike, unfortunately, on his side there.
That's unbelievable. That's really unfortunate. That was such a clean fight the whole race, and just an unnecessary coming together once again. About the third or fourth time we've seen that this race, and Kaike's just dropping down the order. He's leaving his car in a very unsafe position there, but yeah, I was right. It wasn't over, and Getrag retakes the lead of this race. Heavily damaged though now. That rear right is not going to be fun around the right-handers.
So at least across the line they had just shy of 9 seconds in hand, but after the contact, at least across the first split, Getrag's distance in terms of time from himself to P2 is about 5.5 seconds.
What's happening to Nico?
Nico, what's he
wheel,
done?
It looked like his wheel failed because he was keeping a very strange angle.
It's all going wrong in the final lap. Nico Pantola having an absolutely dreadful last lap. Yeah, he's caused left front and right front damage to that car. He's only got a few more corners to go, but it looks like he's on for a podium right now. Jaban in P2, I didn't expect to see that, but yeah, it's happened.
So Jaban and Unite again were fighting over that last spot on the podium, but of course, with the retirement, these two have both been gifted at least a podium if Unite can stay ahead of Gavin Pete, which looks like he's going to be able to do that.
We just saw Getrag come across the line. Looks like Ricciardo was waiting to pick that up. Then it's Jaban who comes across the line in second, followed by Yes Motorsports Unite. Very close across the line for Gavin Pete and Team Up Racing's Frank. Next across the line in P6, it is Texas and Yari Katila.
I think at least race 2 is going to be all about damage control, trying to carve your way through the pack, but again be as safe as you possibly can, because we've seen drivers at least struggling to battle with cars of similar speed throughout the race. Things are going to be mixed up, of course, when all the fast guys are at the back of the grid for race number 2, but we saw a few guys with the pace, at least in race number 1. All 3 sectors on this lap held by different drivers, so Getrag with the fastest lap of the race takes the win. Fastest in split number 1 was Unite, who finished in P number 3. Fastest in split 2, Kaike Propu, who we unfortunately lost at the beginning of the final lap. And Getrag again with the fastest split number 3.
So if you wondered why I was saying, oh Michael, I just realized that he again had a puncture.
Oh no, he's had his fair share of punctures, as you saw from the highlights reel before we went for qualifying. Oh dear.
I would love to say that someone in the top 10 had a quiet race. I guess it's most appropriate for Kid. And maybe Texas. Texas and Frank, we didn't talk about those two a lot this race. But everyone else was just having drama after drama, it seemed.
Yeah, it was all about that pinch point into turn number 1, as we alluded to in the pre-show. Yeah, it rang true in the end.
Yeah, and finally Pekka Koivunen, who was dead last after the first or second lap, finishing in 9th position.
Yeah, that kind of speaks to how crazy the race was. Yeah, do you want to run us down the full order, Jack, this time?
Sure. So out in the race lead, at least for race number 1, Getrag took the checkered flag and the fastest lap for good measure. Closely followed by Japan, who again was gaining at the latter stages of the race, but I think only because of the damage that Getrag picked up in his battle with Kaike Propo, who unfortunately lost just before the checkered flag. Yes Motorsports Unite in 3rd position after a very, very tough battle with Gavin Pete and Japan throughout the race, finds himself again on the podium for good measure. Gavin Pete, P number 4 for Team Rock Racing. There's a trio of Team Rock Racing cars from 4th to 6th position with Gavin Pete, Frank and Texas, all respectively. World Class Lions, Yari Katila, P number 7, with Kid in P number 8, so very, very good result for Kid, who I think at least in qualifying was around about 18th and 19th position, so about 10 or 11 places gained. I think if I look at LFS times here, I think he gained 12 positions in that race. I did kid, so great for him. World Class Lions Pekka Koivunen P number 9, Race Green Autosports Redbot P10. The newcomer to the series, Silverstone in P number 11, World Class Lions Soini in P12. Master Race Car, Michael and Mega in P14 and 13 respectively. So I got them two backwards. And Sidus Rick Cardle a lap down in P15 with Magic for Race Green Autosport. A couple laps down in P number 16, but still classified nonetheless.
So coming up in just a couple of minutes' time, we will have the reversed grid race. In the meantime, we'll show you the highlights reel from before we began of OEC, which is coming this Sunday. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back for the start of race 2. Welcome back. We are about to go green for race number 2. That was the OEC 5 round 1 highlights. You can sign up for that series on the LFS forum. The next race is this Sunday. Thilo, do you want to take us away for the start of race number 2 here tonight?
I will, yes. So on pole position, we've got Rick Cardle in the 66 Sidus Motorsports car.
Yeah, he's
As the
alongside
grid
Michael.
sets, 1 red, 2 red, and we're green.
Yeah, so Rick Cardle starts on pole position. That's interesting, isn't it? Because he was quite high up at the beginning of the last race. So he gets a bit of a second chance here. And Michael Malek, he's going to enjoy being at the front as well. This is all going off in the midfield.
Good track. Searching for a gap around Frank and Jarek here.
Yeah, Gatragi won the last race. He's already in P13 in the middle of this squabble.
Everybody clean through turn number 1 at least for the entire field, but again the top 3 starting to break away. 1.2 seconds from 3rd to 4th.
Oh, Unite
tagging Gatrag there. Unite making it 4 wide at the apex. That was unreal. I can't believe that there wasn't more carnage there. Unite gets a little bit of a tap, and that did not pay out well for him at all there, did it? Gatrag up to P10 after 3 corners. That's Mega.
Unite closely in P12 as there's contact between Gavin Pete and himself before turn number 6. Unite just managed to get the position, but trespassing Gavin Pete into the back of Unite there. Gavin Pete missing his braking point straight into the back of the number 87 on lap number 1. That's allowed Jarek Attila to at least get past Trespasser for now, holding the outside. Through turn number 10 we go. Trespasser on the inside. Jaban for Team Rock Racing looking to get involved in this battle too.
Absolutely, and look in the background that Kaike Propo is in P16 at the moment. He's going to want to get through this field as quickly as possible. And at least try and catch up to Getrag before he makes a break for the front of the pack.
So keep an eye on this trio at least. Jari Katila, Jaban and Joni Katila are all going to be very close into turn number 1. Jaban looking towards...
Silverstone in the wall, backwards.
Yeah, he needs to keep the car there. That's so close.
Joni Katila incredibly close to that stationary car just before turn number 1. I think World Class Line Soini was potentially involved in that as he's jumped to the spectators and back out on track again.
Japan is in a World Class Line sandwich yet again. But is he going to try and make the move on Jari Katila? No, he backs off. And then he sticks his nose in again and then backs off again. Make your mind up, Jaban. Nearly held it side by side for 3 corners and gives a bit of a love tap there.
As Frank's on his roof, just out of turn number 4 there.
Oh, and
he was collected by somebody else.
Oh my goodness me. That's Elmo that's been caught up again. But look at the back of Frank's car there as he went over the top of one of the World Class Lions cars. Was it Joni Katila again? Yes, I think it was Joni Katila. He's got a compressed bonnet now. Oh man, 2 bad races for Joni Katila. Through no fault of his own. Last race with Rick Cardle, and yeah, this race with Frank. Back to you, Jack.
We've got an almighty battle for 7th position. Some of the sharper guys, Yes Motorsports Unite, Getrag and Gavin Pete, all battling over for P number 7. They're about a couple seconds back from Team Rock Racing's Texas in P number 6, but if these guys can keep it clean and work together, they're going to find their way closing up to at least the group ahead of them. But Rick Cardle out in front at least, fastest man in all 3 sectors, and of course the fastest lap for good measure, by some margin as well.
Yeah, Getrag really well done to get up to P8, and he's sending it on Unite down into turn number 1.
Brilliant move from Getrag to brake later and get the apex right. Yes Motorsports Unite with a later apex, a bit earlier on the power as well. He's under attack from Gavin Pete though. I think he's going to be able to at least get alongside Getrag, as we could potentially see 3 wide if Gavin Pete is brave enough, but who's going to hold it? Getrag with the inside line. Not quite the overlap Unite wanted to hold the inside for turn number 3. They remain in formation as Gavin Pete into the back of Unite before turn number 4. You can see just that's allowed Getrag to get away from these 2 just a little bit.
Yeah, Kaike Proper makes his way past Jaban there. But yeah, it looks like Gavin Pete is quite a fan of the rear end of Unite's car. That's the 3rd time I think I've seen him plough into the back of it. And now he's in a Yes Motorsport sandwich, so maybe that's his punishment.
Yeah, one thing you need to keep in mind with this car as well as the UF1 is that driving into the back of the car ahead actually doesn't work like bump drafting or anything like that, but both cars are glued together for a moment, so to speak.
It's kind of weird. Mega has just lost out on a podium position though. He's going to slot back in behind Team Rock Racing's Texas. A good move there from Texas. He lined him up out of the last corner, and yeah, Mega slots back in behind. Next up the road for him is Pekka Koivunen. Yeah.
He's got to run because Mega was really conservative lifting there for the King.
Getrag just made a swift move on Kid. We missed it. Getrag's up to P6. Kid is coming back at him though. Kid doesn't really care about who's who. He just goes for any battles he gets into, and that's the great thing about Kid's racing. He's getting mixed up with Getrag. But Getrag has the position for now.
With apostrophe S, not with S apostrophe.
The Getrag potentially going to capitalise on Pekka Koivunen and Master Race Car's Mega as we run up the hill through turn 5 and 6. Getrag, I think the best he can hope for from this position is P number 2, because Rick Cardle has a 5.8 second lead over Redbot, and there's a few cars between Getrag and at least Redbot in P number 2 as he...
Oh!
That's 3 wide in the background, 4 wide. Oh, that's Kid into Mega into Gavin Pete. That's Gavin Pete.
And Gavin Pete on the roof, rolling over.
That was a 4 wide that just didn't need to happen.
A 4 wide in this swimming pool-esque section. or bus stop-esque section.
That's an unbelievable incident. But anyway, Getrag is looking all over the back of Pekka Koivunen.
Yeah, brilliant run out of turn number 11. Did the number 19 car looking to capitalise on Pekka Koivunen. There's a contact between the two. So Pekka Koivunen
On the middle of the straight.
didn't look like there was that much contact, but Getrag inherits the place from Pekka Koivunen, but loses out to Unite, who's arguably now at least you'd say the best man to get himself up onto the podium at least. Trespasser follows suit, very close to each other, these three cars. I think Trespasser, I think there's slightly different gear ratios between him and Getrag. Getrag shifted up either a little too early, but I could hear the revs bogging down on the number 19 car in P5. Trespasser, is he going to go for the move into turn number 2? Looks up the inside, there is room, there is contact as well, but very clean racing and at least space for both the cars on the track. So Getrag now down in P6. And again, even though Getrag had the better run out of the left-hander of turn number 4, the slowest corner on the track, he had nowhere to go but into the back of Trespasser's car.
Yeah, so dropping backwards after that contact with Pekka Koivunen on the home straight. Very strange incident. Shame he didn't have a better angle of it really, but Getrag needs to get his head down, get back past Trespasser and see if he can set his sights on Unite if he wants to make any more progress in this race. He's already come from the back, don't forget. It's already a great effort, but look who's behind him. It's his arch nemesis, Kaike Paroppo, who yeah, you have to say he's made a really good effort after not the best start. He started dead last because he unfortunately flipped at the kink before turn 1 in the last race. He's now knocking on the door of Getrag again.
Yeah, so you can imagine Kaike Paroppo will be wanting to get as many points out of race number 2 as he wasn't classified in race number 1. I don't think he'll be doing anything unnecessary. He wants to get to the end of this race, but if there's an opportunity, you can bet your bottom dollar that he's going to be the man to take the positions away where possible. Currently though, Getrag and Trespasser, all, I mean, they're at least spread out, these two, from everybody else. It's only these two are involved in this battle right now, but who's going to come out again on top as we approach turn number 2 with Trespasser on the inside. Getrag, although had a bit of an overlap, attempted to make a move around the outside for turn number 3.
Oof. That was a late decision to dive up the inside there, wasn't it?
Very late.
I think he's trying to defend from Jaban because he's in his own battle with Jaban right now. So yeah, just trying to make any opportunity stick. This is going to get very close. We're just over halfway through this race, and it's sizing up to be a great end because we've got 4 very hungry drivers, all trying to catch up to Unite and Texas on the podium.
Oh, Red Dot and Texas side by side. For P2.
Yeah, whatever these guys battle, they're going to back themselves up into the guys behind them. Rick Cardle out in the lead. Over 8 seconds is the gap now. And Rick Cardle again at least owns the fastest lap and the best split number 1, but Kaike Paroppo fastest in split 2 and Getrag fastest in split 3, so the guys a bit further back in 6th and 7th have the pace to get through up into the podium positions, but we're on lap 7 of 11 now.
It's getting very close in this midfield from Trespasser downwards. Getrag and Trespasser are definitely being caught by Kaike and Jaban now. Yeah, this is now a 4-car battle.
The fastest of those 4 last time around at least was Unite with a 1:42 dead. Trespasser 6/10 shy of that. Getrag with exactly the same lap time, and Kaike Paroppo again about 6/10 down from Unite.
Getrag's attempted to switch back there. That was nearly paid off. Not quite. Look at how that left-hander bunches everybody up, and Getrag again deciding instead of trying to go round Trespasser, he's just going to push him, and it doesn't work in the UFR. And now Kaike is right there. Oh, it's starting to get quite uncomfortable viewing. It's quite a twitchy car at the best of times, but yeah, it's not good to see so much pushing and shoving, especially in the tight and twisty sections of South City when you're making, you know, half a tyre's width off the racing line, you're in a wall. Katrag under pressure now. Yeah, take it away, Thilo.
Katrag in the wall. And now being pushed a little bit by Kaike Pirappo. With a very weird angle, hitting that flat curb, lifted the right-hand tires a little bit. Giving now Kaike Pirappo the advantage of all 4 tires in the acceleration from the hairpin.
This is where it went badly for them last race. Will they get through cleanly this time? Yes, they do, and Kaike goes ahead of Katrag. Sorry, Thilo.
Oh, Japan coming from the back.
Yeah.
Rubbing his racing.
Yeah, well, fair enough. Not going to argue. Katrag, it's gone from bad to worse. He looked like he was on an absolute flyer from the beginning. But the same as last race. Seems his tyres or something have gone away in the latter stages, and he's ended up dropping down to P8 now. He was knocking on the doors of the podium, but Japan into the wall.
And Trespasser. Oh, Japan.
Did he yield the position?
Yes, he did.
Huh. Fair enough.
Probably the best you can do as a red car these days.
Wow. Rick Cardle currently leading. He's just about to complete lap number 8 of 11 in race number 2. Then it's Texas, who's still trying to hold on to his podium position ahead of Unite. Redbot's dropped down to 4th. Then it's Trespasser, who is closely followed by Kaike, Pirappo and Katrag.
Was because Kaike is now around him.
Kaike's got past.
Oh, and Trespasser has a problem.
Yeah, what's gone on there? Do we know? Is it clutch?
Oh, clutch is completely
yeah.
burned.
I thought I heard it last lap. Yeah, that clutch is completely dead, and he's given up, hasn't he? He's just, yeah. That's game over for Trespasser. That's what a burnt clutch sounds like, ladies and gents. Kaike up to P5, Japan P6, and Katrag P7, side by side again, nearly with Japan.
So again, these cars with the traditional H pattern gearbox, down to the driver, whether he wants to keep his foot in whilst the clutch is engaged. That temperature builds up over a race distance, and once it gets to a certain threshold, you start losing the drive.
You do indeed.
Let's keep an eye on at least Unite in P3. He's right on the back of Texas now and is the faster of the two. I think last time around at least Texas a 142.64, Unite just behind a 142.09, so just about half a second faster.
Yeah, Unite's been biding his time here, slowly creeping up, and now he's just going to apply the pressure to Texas. He gets a good run.
The last 3 corners we watched him, he always had the better exit. Ooh. Side by side now with Texas. And a remarkably unspectacular overtake.
Yeah, it's one of the more docile overtakes we've seen into that corner. But I'm thankful. I was waiting with bated breath for something to go wrong, but it didn't. So that's nice.
Maybe because you didn't call it.
It's because you were commentating over it, Thilo. That's what it was. Unfortunately, Trespasser's pulled over just after start-finish. I think he's going to wait there till the end of the race and just crawl across the line, just so he's classified as a points finisher. Not the best place to wait, let's be honest, but he's well out of harm's way.
Another move that we might have on the cards is the battle for P number 4 at the moment. Kaike Pirappo very close to the back of Redbot.
Yeah, it's starting to bunch up again because Redbot is going to be holding Kaike up a little bit through the bus stop. Yep, and And look who's behind, waiting to pounce. It's Jaban. Is Kaike going to send it into this second to last corner? Yes, he is. And he makes the move nice and cleanly.
But didn't distract Redbot so much that Japan could use it.
As you say that, Redbot and Jaban are side by side. And Jaban ahead. Yeah, Redbot slots in behind for the final lap. Down into P6 there.
Oh, Kaiki hit the wall in the braking zone for turn 1, and now Japan is through.
It's definitely going to be a race to the checkered flag for these two. Both fighting over 4th position. Okay, has been the faster of the two throughout the race. However, Japan looks as though he's got track position for now, as there's some contact before the braking zone. Japan into the barrier just on the outside there, but has the inside lines for turns 3 and 4. Kaike looking to dive up the inside.
Dived Redbot and it worked. Sorry, carry on.
We're making our way up the hill now into turn 5 and 6. Kaike proper on the back foot now. There's only 7 corners on the track remaining in race number 2 at least. What can Kaike do from 5th position? I think he's at least safe from Getragen, unless these two tangle. But Japan's a couple tenths ahead, and Kaike, at least for the next few corners, he needs to nail the entry and the exit to just get close enough to attack across the line. So Kaike, with the run that he needs at least to get as close to Japan as he can, through turn number 11, who's going to get the better exit? Japan was on the power earlier.
First position.
Yeah, we nearly missed it. Ricardo crosses the line. Well done to him.
These two are going to be side by side across the line, gents. Kaike with the faster of the two. Japan was very close, I think.
Oh, I think Japan
Kaike just missed out.
Yeah.
They were actually identical across the line, gents.
Identical time.
Seriously close across the line there. What a fantastic race that was.
Oof.
I think I need a minute to just process what I've seen, gents.
So Ricardo wins the second race of tonight from Yes Motorsports Unite. Third position and fourth position to Team Rock Racing with Texas and Japan. Fifth position, Energy Virtual Racing's Kaike Piropo. Sixth position, Getrack. Seventh position, Race Green's Redbot. Eighth position, Team Rock Racing's Gavin Pete. Ninth and 10th for World Class Lions. Joni Katia and Pekka Koivunen, who is again in the top 10 after having a very troublesome race. So very well done by Pekka Koivunen in both races. In 11th position, Race Green's Magic in front of TC Racing's Chris McElroy. 13th position for the newcomer Silverstone. 14th and 15th, both world-class Lions with Jari Katia and Timo Soini. And in 16th and last position, it's Yes Motorsports Trespasser with his well-done clutch.
Yeah, slightly hot, wasn't it? But yeah, some great racing there. How do we want to summarise that one?
Not sure what the term is. I don't want to call it carnage, because I think at least they tried to keep it as clean as possible, but with the barriers being so close and having such a narrow short wheelbase car here this week, I think it caught a lot of people out. A lot less finishers than we'd have liked to see in both races, but again, I think Ricardo at least earned the win in race number 2. He'll be happy with the fastest lap as well, winning by 12 seconds.
A great treat tonight. Two really great races there. And yeah, the same again next week as we have been used to in this series. Tuesday the 21st of July, we're at Aston Club. We go back to Aston for a race in the MRT. That'll be round 29 of the Team Rock Racing Championship. If you've watched along tonight and you fancy getting involved, you can do that over on the LFS forum.
And I think it is the last race before the summer break.
It is. Is it a 2 or a 1 week break? I think it's 2 weeks, isn't it?
I think the next race after that is in August, so
yeah,
2
middle
weeks.
of August, so it's 2 or 3 week break. Yeah, it's been a long run, hasn't it? We've got one more round, 29 rounds, and then a quick break, and then the remaining rounds until the end of November. Yeah, a great series to get involved with. Thank you for joining us tonight. Remember to hit that follow button on our channel if you want to be notified of when we go live. You can also check out our broadcasts on our website at simbroadcasts.tv. You can check out our calendar there. Thank you to our new subscriber on Twitch, Mega. And yeah, anything else you boys want to say before we finish up today?
Thanks for everybody for watching. I see again, like I say every week, the same familiar faces in the chat. It's always good to see everybody at least enjoying the racing action that we bring to the table week in, week out. Yeah, thank you very much, guys. And thanks to my co-commentators this round. It's nice to have Thilo back. Don't you agree, Chad?
Yeah, I do. Join us this weekend on Sunday for round number 2 of the Open Endurance Cup. Sign-ups are still open for that if you fancy some NGT or LRF racing. That's at West Hill International. Thilo's running that series, and do you want to give us a bit of a preview? What are you looking forward to there?
So with West Hill, we've got a very nice track with long flowing corners, and also a track where the differences between both classes are going to be very obvious, because the NGTRs with the slick tires are going to love the high speed corners, while the LRFs are actually faster on the long straights. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this is going to turn out. Classes, as I said, the NGTRs are the XFR and the UFR, so the car you've seen here today. And the car you've seen last week, that is actually available in the LRF class, together with the LX6 and the FZ5.
For those of you who aren't great at acronyms, Thilo was talking about the RAC.
Yeah.
Another acronym, the raceabout.
The raceabout, sorry, yeah. Acronyms with acronyms. I think that should just about wrap us up for today. Cheers, Jack. Cheers, Thilo, once again. Thank you, everybody, for watching. See you again next Tuesday for the 29th round of the Team Rock Racing Championship. And see you again at the weekend for round 2 of the Open Endurance Cup. Should probably give a shout out to the newest member of the Sim Broadcasts team, Mandula, who has provided us with a highlights reel for the last round of the OEC, which is what we'll leave you with today. So thank you and good night.